Okay, so I'm going to present my screen. There's 4 questions on this one again. Okay, here we go. Your warm-up for today. Give you guys about 7 or 8 minutes. Number 1, you're going to find the greatest common factor between 18 and 12. Number 2, a shark swims at 140 feet below sea level. Then it descends 20 feet. What is the depth that the shark is swimming at? Number 3, a 4-yard piece of fabric costs $7.04. What is the price of fabric per yard? So that's a unit rate. And then number 4, you're doing order of operations, PEMDAS for that one. Okay, so go ahead and be working on those. Number 4 is a little bit tricky, so try your best on that, but we'll do them in a few minutes. All right, cool. We'll do a couple more minutes. Let's see. It's 10:06, so we'll do about 3 more minutes. Okay. Okay, about one more minute and then we will review these. Okay, I got a couple of you guys finishing up. All right, so we'll get about 1 more minute and then we can review these ones. Clean my board. Oh, hang on, I'm getting a call. 1 sec. All righty. Let's go ahead and work on these. Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah? Cool. Awesome. And hopefully you can see the board. Let's start with number 1. We have that we need to find the greatest common factor of 18 and 12. So that means that we need to do our factor trees first. So what numbers will multiply into 18? You can answer in the chat or out loud. Either works. What numbers multiply to 18? Yeah, you guys are on there. What numbers multiply? 18. All right, I'll just wait. Someone's on there. What numbers multiply to 18? You can put them in the chat. You can say it out loud.
9 and 2.
9 times 2. Thank you. So we have 2 and 9. And then we can circle the prime numbers. Are either of these prime?
2 is.
2. So we can circle that. Good. And then what numbers are going to multiply into 9?
3 and 3.
3 times 3. All right. Is 3 a prime number?
Yes.
Yep. The only number that multiplies into 3 is 1 times 3. So those are prime. So we're done with that one. Now we need to look at our number 12. What numbers multiply to 12?
6 and 2.
6 times 2. And we know that 2 is prime. We already circled that one over here. What about 6? What multiplies to 6?
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Circle those. Good. Now we need to do our GCF. Do you guys remember which one goes on top and which one goes on bottom?
GCF goes on top, LCM goes on the bottom.
I think you have that flipped, right?
So LCM on top and GCF on bottom?
Yep. Okay. So let's start with our 9. Or sorry, our 18. Remember, we just list out the numbers. 3, 3, and 2. We use those. And then we need to do the matchy-matchy stuff. Is there a 3 that I can match for the GCF? Can I match a 3 along here?
Yes, you can.
Yep, we can match this one. What about a 2? Can I match a 2?
Yes.
Yep. What about another 2? Can I match one more?
No.
No, so where do I put this last 2?
On the top.
On the top. Okay, so now we have our list of numbers. What do I do with all of these?
You multiply them.
Good, we got to multiply them all together. We don't need to do the LCM. We just need the GCF. So we just need to do 3 times 2. What is 3 times 2?
6.
6. So our GCF is 6. The number that's the biggest that goes into both 12 and 18 is 6. Okay? Good. The next one, we have a shark that is 140 feet below sea level. Does it make sense that it is below the sea? It's a shark.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 140 feet below sea level. And then the problem said it's going to descend 20 feet. What does the word descend mean?
To go down.
To go down. So this shark is going to go down 20 feet. So we need to go down another 20 feet. Where does that put me at? How many feet below sea level?
Negative 160.
Good. Negative 160 feet is your answer there. If it goes down another 20 feet, it puts you at negative 160 feet. Good. Number 3, we had a piece of fabric that was 4 yards long, I believe, and it cost them $7.04. And we need to figure out how much 1 yard costs. So we're doing a unit rate. We're just dividing here. 4 divided into 7 and 4 hundredths. First thing we need to do is bring up our decimal and make sure we have our decimal there. Now, does 4 go into 7?
No, but it goes into. Wait, no, it doesn't actually.
Yeah, 4 goes into 7. How many times?
1 time.
Just 1 time, right? And then we can put our 4 underneath and subtract. We can drop down our 0. Does 4 go into 30?
No, it goes into 28, which is 7 times.
Good. It goes in 7 times. And like Dallin said, 28. We subtract to get 2, and then we can drop down our 4. Does 4 go into 24?
Yes, it goes into it 6 times.
Good. Exactly 6 times, right?
Yep.
Good. So how much does 1 yard of fabric cost us?
$1.76.
Good. $1.76. Perfect. Good. And then our last thing we need to do is order of operations over here. So PEMDAS, remember, is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So we need to start with parentheses. Do we see parentheses on this problem?
Yes.
Yep. So we need to start with 5 times 2. What is 5 times 2?
It'd be 10.
5 times 2 is 10. Good. And then we still kind of have these parentheses. We still need to finish this out first. So we need to do this step still. So we're going to leave our 3 squared there.
Wait, why did the parentheses still stay there once you already did them?
Because it's just kind of how it is. You do the thing inside the parentheses and it's still there. But we have these parentheses around it still, which means we still need to do this multiplication and finish the parentheses. They just kind of stay there no matter what until you've finished multiplying at the end.
Okay.
So this time, when you have these parentheses, remember it means that you're multiplying the number on the outside times the number on the inside. So what is 5 times 10?
50.
50. Good. So now we're left with 3 to the 2nd power plus 50. So we did our parentheses. What's next?
You'd have to do the exponents.
Our exponents, good. So we need to do 3 to the 2nd power. What does it mean to do 3 to the 2nd power?
It means times itself.
Good. It means the number 3 multiplied by itself twice. So 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3?
9.
9 plus 50. And we just got to do the last step. What is 9 plus 50?
59.
59. And that's your answer there. Okay. So overall, how did you guys do on this? Good. Okay.
I got them all right except the last one.
That's good. That one was a little bit tricky. What about the rest of you guys? Anybody else do good, bad, okay? Okay. Well, hopefully you guys are behind those screens. We are going to, let's see. I heard something. Good. Glad you did good. All right. In Google Classroom, I don't think it's posted yet, but I'm going to share my screen. And we have a little bit of notes that we're going to look through on how to do something, and then we'll do some practice all together. So what we're going to do is head over to Google Classroom under Math. There it goes. Don't think it's posted yet, so I'm going to make it post. hopefully. There it goes. Okay, so if you reload your Google Classroom, you should have a new math assignment called Distance Between Points. And this is some notes and practice. There's 2 things attached to it. I'm going to move over to my desk because my computer is going to die if I don't. So, right back. Okay, so while I'm moving, go ahead and open up the Google Slides. We'll do the Google Doc after. That's the practice, but we're going to look at the Google Slides first.
Do we open both of them?
We're going to start with the Google Slides. We'll open up the Google Doc in a little bit. They don't go together. One of them, the Google Slides is just the notes, and then the document is the practice we'll do after. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this. Are we ready? A couple more of you guys here. Cool.
I'm ready.
All right. So what we're going to do is talk about a coordinate plane and looking at the distance between 2 points on the coordinate plane. So if you look at slide number 2, we have some points on the graph here. So we're going to look at these first and just kind of review what the points on the graph are before we get going. So let's look for point A. It's up here on the right. What would be the ordered pair for this if we were to write the ordered pair?
Okay,
4, 8.
Worth how much?
4, 8. So that means we would go over 4, up 8. That looks good. Do you guys remember how to write that? Sorry, I'm going to have to do it on.
0.
First the 4, then the 8.
Good. So I'm going to write it on a piece of paper because, like I said, my computer's going to die and the cord doesn't reach the whiteboard. So point A would be at 4, 8. I'm going to write them all down first, and then I'll show you guys. What about point B? Where would we find point B? It's over here on the left.
At 9, 8.
So 9, 8.
9, 8.
Good. Okay, so you go backwards, which means we're going in negative direction, and then up 8. So B would be negative 9.
Wait, doesn't Y go first instead of X, or does X go first?
No, the X always goes first. So the side to side will always go first.
Mom are working in the kitchen. They
And
are
then up and down.
delicious. They start by making a pie crust. Then they fill the crust with apple pie filling.
Sorry, Charlie, I'm going to mute
After
you.
that,
Alrighty. Our next one, point C. Where is it? Down here on the bottom. We have point C down here. What would that be? How many to the left do we go? Our horizontal distance first.
-9, -7.
Good. It's negative 9. And then we're moving down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means it's a negative 7. Good. Our next one, point D. Where would that one be? Someone other than Charlie maybe want to tell me where that one is? Point D.
-4. Wait, no, -3, up 4.
Good. So we go backwards 3, which is negative 3, and then we go up 4. So negative 3, 4. Then we have point E, which is down here in quadrant 3. Where would this one be?
-3 and then -5.
Good. Negative 3, negative 5, because we are going backwards 3 and then down 5. So they're both negative. And then we have point F, our last one. Where is this one at?
It'd go 4 down to -6.
Not -6, you're close though. -5, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we would go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a positive direction, so it's a +4. And then if we're moving down 5, that's going to make it our -5. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this really quick and stop sharing my screen just so that you guys can see if you pin me. So this is what they look like, right? Point A was at 4, 8, so we went over 4, up 8. Both of them are positive. Point B was at -9, 8, so we went backwards 9, up 8. Okay, so this is what they look like. The first number is always your x, the way you go left and right, whether it's negative or positive, and then your second number is always your up and down movement. Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind today. Hopefully that's helpful. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to our presentation. Cool. All right. So our next thing, it's not going to the next slide. There we go. We're going to talk about distance now. The distance between points. We are only going to talk about the distance between them if they're on the same line. So if we look at A and F, those are on the same line on a vertical line, up and down, right? And then if we look at A and B, they're on horizontal lines that are the same, okay? But we're not going to do something like A to D where it's diagonal. We're not going to do that yet. You do that in like 8th grade, I want to say. So we're only going to talk about them on horizontal lines or vertical lines, okay? So if for some reason you plot your own points and they're diagonal from each other, like A and D, then check how you plotted the points on your graph because it might be wrong. I'm not going to ask you to do anything diagonal. It will always be side to side or up and down. Does that make sense? Alrighty, so we're going to look at points A and B. I have those written down. If you have a piece of paper, you might want to write them down as well. I don't know if you guys, when I'm presenting, can you guys see me at all?
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay, so if I have point A and B, and if you're looking at me, however big I am, I kind of have A and B boxed out at the top. What do you guys notice that is the same about them? What
They
is
both have an 8
Good, those 8s are the
as
same.
their Y.
Good. X and Y. So for your Y coordinate, the second number, they're both 8. So that means that they're both on the same horizontal line. They're both going up 8. That means that we can find the distance between them by using an absolute value sentence. So I'm going to get another piece of paper really quick. Hold on. So we have point A. Yeah.
They're all connected somehow. We already did the A and B, and A is on the same line as F vertically, and F and E are the same horizontally, and E and D are the same, and B and C aren't the same.
Yeah, that means that it makes it a little bit easier to find that distance. So I could ask you to find the distance between A and B, A and F, C and B.
Wait, but what if it's diagonal, though?
If it's diagonal, we won't do that. You'll probably do that in like 8th grade.
Oh, that was the thing you were telling us about.
Yeah. So I wouldn't ask you to find the distance between A or D because they're not on the same up and down line or side to side line. They got to be in a row, basically. Okay, so if you look at me in the corner, really quick, we have 8 and 8. If I circle the 8s, we know that those are the same, correct? I'll put it in the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
That means that what we're going to do to find the distance is get rid of those 8s. So we don't use them because they are the same. You don't need the numbers that are the same. So wrong way. I cross off the 8s and I'm left with a 4 and a -9. To find the distance between them, you write the absolute values of them. So that's what you see on your screen already, right? It becomes the absolute value of 4 plus the absolute value of 9 to figure out the distance between them. So if we were to solve this, what is the absolute value of 4?
4.
4.
Good, it's a positive 4. And then what would be the absolute value of negative 9?
9.
Good, it becomes a positive 9. So then our new number sentence is 4 plus 9. What is 4 plus 9?
13.
13. Good. So if we were to say, what is the distance between A and B, we would say 13. And we don't know how far it is, like if it's inches or miles or whatever. So we just write units to describe that. I'm dropping Sharpies. Okay, well, I'll get a different one for right now. So in order to write that, it would be like 13 units. Okay, so the absolute value sentence creates an actual answer for you, the distance. Now, we have this graph here. How could I check that I did this correctly and the distance is 13? What could I do? If you just look at your graph.
You can just find 4 and then you go to negative 9 and then you count how many parts are apart from it.
Exactly. Basically, you just count. So if we're going from A to B, and if you're looking at the presentation part of it, and we count that, we could actually legitimately count and be like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 units across. That distance is 13. So there's ways to do it without the absolute values, but sometimes we're not going to give you the graph to go with it. That's why we do the absolute values as well. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can count the distance if you have the actual graph, and if you don't have the graph, you can use the absolute values. So I'm gonna, let's see, what's the next slide? Let's look at the next one. I'm gonna get another piece of paper, and I'm gonna give you guys 2 points and have you guys find the distance between them, and then we'll look at it. So I want you guys to find the distance and try on your own. I know that we just started it, so just try it. Between A, which is 4, 8, and then F, which is 4, negative 5. Okay, so if you look at me in the corner, wherever I am on your screen, we have these 2 points. A is 4, 8, and F is 4, negative 5. First thing you got to do is look for the things that are the same. What numbers are the same? The X's or the
4.
Y's?
The X's.
Good, the 4.
Y's.
This is your X's.
I still get confused about them.
X always goes first. It goes in alphabetical order. X and then Y. So if we know that the 4s are the same, then we can cross those off because we are not going to use the 4s. They're the same. We do not use them. So that means we need to write the absolute value sentence using the ones that are different. So we need to use what 2 numbers inside our absolute values?
8 and negative 5.
Good, 8 and negative 5. So we have the absolute value of 8 plus the absolute value of negative 5 equals. So our number sentence that we would write would be this. Absolute value of 8 plus the absolute value of negative 5. And then we solve. What is the absolute value of 8?
8.
Good. It's a positive 8. What about the absolute value of negative 5?
5.
5. Good.
Because it's 5 away from 0.
What is 8 plus 5?
It'd be 13.
13. And then we just need to make sure that we write units on the end because that's the measurement there, right? 13 units. So we have something that looks like this. I know I just said to do it on your own, but you'll do the next one on your own. Okay. Is this making a little bit of sense how to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the rest of you guys besides Dallin and Charlie? How are you guys doing? I can see a couple of you guys. Doing good? Okay. So before I have you do one on your own, how could I check that I got the right answer on that?
Count.
We could count between A and F. So we could, if you're looking at the presentation part, we could literally go, I'm going to start at A and count down to F. So we have A, or not what I meant, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Got the correct answer. Okay, so this one I really do want you guys to try it on your own. Okay, I'll write it down, but I want you guys to find the distance between D and E. So point D is -3, 4, and point E is -3, -5. Okay, so these 2 points, if you're looking at me on the screen, you have point D and point E. I want you guys to find the distance on this one. Try it on your own first. I'll give you about 3 minutes to work on this one on your own, and then we will talk about it. So find the distance between D and E.
Done.
Okay, keep it to yourself for now, and then we'll review it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I write down the thing real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get my Sharpie that I dropped.
Like, can you hold that up so I can just write it real quick?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I dropped the Sharpie, so you got to go grab it.
I got it.
Cool. All right. Okay, we'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that one, and then we will review. Alrighty. Is that enough time? How we doing?
Yeah.
All right. So let's look at it. If you're looking at me in the corner again, we have point D, which is -3, 4, and point E, which is -3, 5. Are the x coordinates the same or the y coordinates?
The x coordinates.
The x coordinates, which is the -3s, right? So because the 3's are the same, oh, this is out of ink. Hang on. Because those -3's are the same, we can cross them off. We don't need to use the -3's, but we do need to use.
So if there's 2 of the same numbers, you cross them out?
Yeah, you don't need them. The only thing that is helpful for the fact that those are the same numbers, it just shows you that they're on the same horizontal or vertical line. So you get rid of the ones that are the same because you don't need them. And then you use the ones that are different to do the absolute values. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to use our 4 and our -5 and write our absolute value of sentence. Absolute value of 4 plus the absolute value of -5. So it would look like so. There we go. What is the absolute value of 4?
4.
Good, a +4. What about the absolute value of -5?
5.
Good, it becomes a +5. So then we have, oh, I keep going the wrong way. 4 plus 5. What is 4 plus 5?
9.
9. So we have our distance is 9 units. How do you check that answer? What could you do?
Count them.
Good. You could count from D to E. So we're going to do that one really quick. If you're looking at the presentation, we could count from D to E. I'm going to go down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What happened there? Why are we wrong?
I know how you got it. You have to count from that black dot to the black dot. So you don't like you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, so I started in the wrong spot then. So we have 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's a good catch. Make sure you start from one dot and go all the way to the next dot. So something like this where the E is on the line, the E is not where your point is. The black dot is where your point is. So just make sure you keep that in mind too. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and close out of the presentation. I know that there's a couple more slides, but it's just finding the distance again and again. So what we're going to do is go practice that instead. So if we go back over to Google Classroom, we have this Google document, right? And if we open that up, we've got some practice we could do here. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to get there so that we can do this practice.
I'm there.
Good, awesome. All right, looks like a lot of you guys are there. Okay, so what I noticed about this document is that when you go to type on it, it opens up a drawing. So we have to type in the drawing. We can't type on the actual document, but there is a text box inside the drawing to type into. So we need to find, on our first one, the coordinates of the ordered pairs, and then we need to find the distance. So I'm going to close it really quick and get some paper to write these down on. Let's start with finding the ordered pair, which is the coordinate, the point, for this one on the left. Where would this one be? I'm going to call it point A.
Wait, the one on the left?
Yep, the one on the left. What?
It would be 7, -7.
Good, -7, and then how many down?
3. I know 4. 4.
Yeah. -4. So that first one is at -7, -4. Okay. Then we need to find the ordered pair of the one on the right. So what would this one be? I'm going to call it
3.
point. So we're to the right 3, so that's a +3, and then how many do we go down?
4.
Good, which means it's a -4. So if we are in our drawing here and we need to type in our text box, you can click on the actual words and it puts it there. We need to type our ordered pair first. Our first one is -7, comma, -4. Sorry, it's a little bit small. And our second ordered pair is 3, comma, -4. Okay, so we have 2 ordered pairs there. I'll give you a second to type those out.
I just typed in the answer instead of the.
Well, but it asks 2 questions. First, it asks what are the coordinates of the ordered pairs, and then what's the distance. So make sure you have both, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we have our ordered pairs, and then if we look at me in the corner, let's do this problem and find our distance. We need to look for the numbers that are different, right? What are our different ones? What are our different ones on here? The X's or the Y's?
I was trying to do the other one. The different ones are 7 and 3. The same ones are 4 and 4.
Good. So I'm going to cross off our -4s because we don't need our -4s. But we're going to use the -7 and the 3, too far, to do our problem. So we need to do our absolute values here. So it would be the absolute value of -7 plus the absolute value of 3 if we're writing our number sentence. Oh, too far. There we go. Okay. So let's do that. What's the absolute value of -7?
7.
Good, a +7. Plus, what about the absolute value of 3?
3.
3.
3. Awesome. And then what is 7 plus 3?
10.
Yep.
10. So we have 10 units as our, oh my gosh, this is hard to get in the screen. There we go. 10 units as our answer. Okay, so let's type that out before we close our text box. So we have 10.
Are we typing the answer?
Yeah, so we need to have the two ordered pairs and the answer, the distance. So what I have on the screen can be what you write down as well.
And then do we hit save and close?
Yes, in order to save it, you just hit save and close, and it'll save your work. All right, so I'm going to do that. And then it should be there on the bottom for you. How could I check the answer to make sure that 10 is correct? How could I check my answer to make sure 10 is correct?
Count.
Count it, right?
Count.
So we could count across. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. And we're done. So, let's see. Let's look at our next one here. The one directly to the right. This one's a lot shorter. It wants us to do the ordered pairs and find the distance, but what's going to be the easier way to do this one? Would it be easier on this one to count or do the absolute values?
Count.
It would be a lot easier to count. They're not that far apart. So let's just count these ones. If we start here on the left one and we count across, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Do we agree? Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah. On this one, I don't feel like we need to do the whole absolute values and stuff. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and type in the answer on this one because it's nice and short. And say.
Oh wait,
Or-
we can just count the numbers. We can just say the answer in them now.
Sometimes, yeah. When it's that close, I would say go for it. If they're farther apart and maybe you might have miscounted, maybe check your answer. But honestly, if they give you the graph and you're like, oh, I'm pretty confident I can count the spaces, I don't see why you can't just count them, right? There are some problems where I won't give you the graph, though. That's the thing. That's why we're learning both ways. Okay. So we can just write our answer here as 4 units. Yeah, I'll give you about 1 minute to get that typed out, and then we're going to do 2 more. So on the next page, we have some up and down ones, 2 vertical ones, and then we'll be done for the day for math. All right, are you ready? We'll scroll down to the second
The
page.
next one is 4 units.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Let's count this one as well. They're super close together. So if we start at the top one and we count down, it's just 1, 2. It's only 3, actually. It's not even 4. It's only 3. So on this
Wait,
one,
it's 4, but counting from the points, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. From the dot.
but you start at the dot and then you got 1 line, 2 lines between, and then you get there on the 3rd.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So this one, again, we can just type in our answer really quick, and it is.
Which one's point A?
It doesn't matter. You can choose. Okay. So this one's just 3 units. I'm going to save and close that one. And then on our final one here, though, we are going to do the absolute value on this one, okay? So we need to, let's start with the dot at the top.
So we can't put the answers in it? Like
Well, we're going to put both this time. We're going to put the ordered pair and the answer on this one. So let's find the ordered pair of our top dot. What is this one going to be at? How many to the right do I go? 1, 2,
3.
3. Perfect. So that's a positive 3, and then I'm going to go up how many?
6.
Perfect. 3, 6 is your ordered pair for that one. And then let's find point B. That'll be the one down here on the bottom. How many do the to the right do I go?
2.
Close. This one's in between the 2 and the 4. So that would be what?
3.
3. And then how many down do we go?
I can't type on number 4 when I'm trying to do it.
5.
It's not working?
No, I can't do it like the other
It's
one.
okay.
Right.
If it doesn't work, that's all right. As long as we get the process, right? So if we look at my screen, we've got two ordered pairs here. Point A is at 3, 6, and point B is at 3, negative 5. So we have our two ordered pairs. Which two are the same, my x's or my y's?
Your
First-
Y's. I mean your X's.
Good. It's the x's. The ones that are first are your x's. So I'm going to cross off our 3's because they're the same. We're not going to use the 3's. Oops, wrong way. So that means we need to use the y's to do our absolute value, the 6 and the negative 5. So the absolute value of 6 plus the absolute value of negative 5. So our number sentence would look like this. Absolute value of 6 plus absolute value of negative 5. What's the absolute value of 6?
6.
6. And the absolute value of 5?
5.
Good. Well, I meant negative 5, but it's the same answer, right? And
Yep.
then what is 6 plus 5?
11.
11 units. So our final answer here is, oops, wrong way, 11 units. How could I check my answer on that?
By counting.
By counting the distance in between them. So there's always two ways to do this. Let's see if I'm able to type in it. Let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me either. Okay, so we can't type in that last one, but that's all right. We still worked on them. There are other problems on here. You're more than welcome to do them if you want to, but we're not going to do them together. We're actually going to be done now. But you can do more practice if you'd like to. We are going to do more practice throughout the week as well. So I'm going to go ahead
So
and
don't turn it in.
you can turn it in.